Welcome. Come on in.
Hello, friends. Hello, it's me, Amy, and today I am bringing you in my kitchen, and we're gonna make a quick and easy dinner. Okay, it's a quick and easy dinner. It's one of my family's favorites. Specifically, my husband and my son. They both love this recipe, and we're gonna make a Mississippi pot roast in the crock pot. Super easy, super fast, and the crock pot does the cooking. You know, life is just so busy these days. I wish they weren't. I try to find ways to simplify a busy life, and that's why we have So Simply Amy. I am a simple girl, so I try to find ways to simplify our busy life. We have work, kids, businesses, all kinds of things going on. So, and I like the quiet, simple life, but fact is, life is not that quiet anymore. You know, it's busy, it's fast. So, today I'm gonna show you how to make a Mississippi pot roast. It's super easy. It's gonna be done my way. There are other ways to do it, but this is the way that I like to cook it. So come on in my kitchen and let's start cooking.
Okay, friends, here's what you need for the recipe. You need a beef roast. I am using a 2.5 pound rump roast. Any roast will do. Chuck roast does really well in a crock pot. You need 1 stick of butter, 1 packet of ranch seasoning. I am using 2 packets of onion gravy, but you can use whatever type of gravy you'd like. And you don't need 2 packets, but I'm using 2 because we like extra broth gravy. You need 1 jar of pepperoncinis. Optional are chopped onions. I am using chopped Vidalia sweet onions, but you don't even need the onions if you're not an onion fanatic. We are. And of course, a crock pot. First step is to put your roast into your pot. I have already turned my pot on, so my pot is on and it's heated. You don't need to pre-brown your roast or anything like that. You can just put it in there raw. You know, just of course wash your meat before. You always wash. I shouldn't have to say this, but always wash your meat before you cook it. So you open up that packet of ranch seasoning, and you're going to use the entire packet of ranch seasoning. You only need 1 packet. And you are going to pour all of that ranch seasoning right on top of your roast. Right on top of it. You're going to open up your packet of gravy. The traditional recipe calls for 1 packet of au jus gravy, but we like the onion flavor, so I am using 2 packets of the onion gravy, but you choose whichever one you'd like, but I will recommend the onion gravy. It's very good. So you do the same thing with your onion gravy directly on top of the roast. Open up packet number 2. And again, you're going to use the entire packet. This time, I'm going to sprinkle it around and on top of the roast, so you can get some of that seasoning down at to the bottom of the pot. Now you're going to use a whole stick of butter. Now, guys, I am using a whole stick. The traditional recipe does call for a whole stick, but I'm going to play around with this someday, and I will update this video. I'm going to see if we can get away with using less butter, maybe a half stick or less. I bet it's just as delicious. But I am using a whole stick today. If you have a chance to play around with this recipe and you use less than a half stick, please let me know in the comments how it turned out for you. Gotta wash that butter off of my fingers. So now, guys, we're gonna open up our jar of pepperoncinis. Pepperoncinis are not spicy at all. They are tarty, tangy, vinegary. My husband really loves pepperoncini, so I'm using more than the required amount for the traditional recipe. I'm using almost the whole jar, which is a lot. I think the traditional recipe calls for about maybe 8 pepperoncinis. So, but my husband loves them. When we go and get subs or hoagies, he always gets extra banana peppers on his sandwiches. So he really likes the taste of it. And to be honest, when cooking them with this roast, the roast kind of takes some of that tanginess away from them. So anyhow, excuse me, I am putting a whole bunch in there, almost a whole jar, and some of that juice is getting in there too, so that's good. I was using a bowl for the purpose of this tutorial, but you really don't need to make all of that extra work for yourself and creating a dirty dish by using a bowl. You can just empty all of your content straight from the jar or the packet. And then now I'm adding my sliced up onions. I'm using Vidalia sweet onions. That kind of goes really well with the roast. But again, we're onion fanatics. You don't have to use the onions. It's completely optional. I consider myself a Southern cook. And you can't be a Southern cook without using onions. I cook with onions a lot. So in my house, you have no choice but to like onions. Everything else after the pepperoncini is optional. Black pepper, optional. I'm just adding about a half teaspoon of black pepper. Again, the onions are optional as well. You see about a whole teaspoon there, but I'm not using all of that. I'm using some of it. I don't want to overwhelm it with spice. So I'm only using about half of that. And I'm putting the rest back into the container. Okay, again, optional. The water, I'm using about 1/3 cup of water. Completely optional. But like I mentioned earlier, we like our roast to have lots of broth. So I'm trying to stretch that because that little girl of mine will just pile up a bowl or a plate of gravy with rice. Cook it on low for 6 to 8 hours or high for 4 to 6 hours. And that's it, y'all. So simple. Let me show you the finished dish. Oh my gosh, friends. Look at this delicious dinner. A tender and juicy Mississippi pot roast, creamy and fulfilling mashed potatoes, and delicious honey roasted baby carrots. I did not do a tutorial on my country style green beans, but I will. Such a delicious dinner and so simple. I hope you've enjoyed each one of these recipes. Be sure to check out the recipe on the roast, the honey roasted carrots, and potatoes. Have a great day.